Welcome to the Editor's Note Comics Podcast.
Hail to the guardians of the watchtowers of the East.
Central Maine's best comics podcast. By default.
Maybe it's a sign that you've got an extraordinary destiny.
Here are your hosts, Zach and Jared.
Expecto Patronum!
I didn't think this through. I don't have a clever intro. Welcome to the show.
I wish that we'd been recording the last 15 minutes. That would have been some real riveting talk.
Me just going, I don't care about anything.
Well, I think it'd be great to, kind of deconstruct Zach a little bit. New year, new you, although it's April, so it's not really a new year anymore. But I think
it's not even spring.
Yeah, well, we could, dive into, clinically assess you.
Fine.
Are you, though?
I feel it.
Lay down on the couch. Let's have some talk.
If I have to lay down on the couch, then we're touching far more than I'm comfortable with.
You can put your feet this way. You don't have to put your head on my lap.
That'd be better. That's how we're doing the show from now
And
on.
just stroke your bald head lovingly.
Head on crotch.
Yes. Well, how was your week?
I don't know.
How's life in the construction
I don't
zone?
know. It's only 1 week in, so I'm reading way too much into it. Like, Monday and Tuesday last week were bad days at the store, but sometimes Mondays and Tuesdays are bad because they're the beginning of the week before the shipment comes in. Also, the weather was bad. Am I reading too much into it? Maybe. Then I had a really good Wednesday.
A month from now. Oh, we're only a month into the construction, but I might be reading into
Yeah,
it.
I know. Thursday was bad. Then I had one of the best Fridays I've ever had at the store, followed by one of the worst Saturdays. So I don't know, man. It's all over the place. Last week was inconsistent, to say the least.
Oh, a lot like your emotional structure.
That's pretty consistent. Pretty much just as medium.
You're unfazed. Have you made friends with any of the construction workers yet?
No.
Have you given them names? Have you watched them outside and you kind of play out a scene in your head?
No, okay. I mean, mostly they just drive by and make a lot of noise.
Have you seen a group of them just standing there looking at something?
Just the one that was smoking weed.
But you haven't seen a cohort of five or six?
I can't see them. There's a fence in the way.
Do you think that fence is there so you can't see them just standing around and looking?
Possibly.
What would you do if you looked outside and for about 30 minutes there was a group of 5 or 6 of them just standing there and looking at something and not doing anything?
Then I might reach an emotional high and go,
Would you go outside?
get to work.
And then would you end up at a social low when you're calling me up and saying, I may have done a thing that requires you to come get me at the police station?
I'd call my mommy for that.
Oh, okay.
Keep it discreet.
Wow. So am I on the short list of people you would call if you needed help, to get out of a legal jam? If you had bailed out, would you call me?
It'd be a few down. You wouldn't be number one.
Am I in the top 5?
I think you would reach the level of last resort before I just have to say, oh well.
See, I don't know how I feel about that. There's part of me that's good, I won't get woke up in the middle of the night. But then there's part of me that's I thought our friendship had transcended the point where if you were in dire need of help.
Look, it's a pretty short list.
Yeah, I can think of all the people that are on that
Probably.
list. Your parents, your wife, Mike, and me.
Well, I swear to God, the reason to get married.
That's 5 people right there.
Yeah, one of the best things.
And it's probably not in the right order.
I'm gonna say my thing.
It'd probably be Mike, your parents, your wife, and me.
One of the best things about getting married is that when you put down your emergency contact, you no longer have to put your mother. You're I'm an adult!
Someday I want to know that feeling.
It's not my mom!
Sometimes I put down people that are friends. I think I put you down as an emergency contact once.
No.
Just for fun. Didn't really mean it.
Why? I think my reaction would be why if someone called me.
Just for the reaction piece of it. I'd be in the background all injured. This guy's saying he doesn't know you. Don't lie to them, Zach!
We have a weird week to get through, so I guess let's just dive
every
into
week
it.
is a weird week on this show, but let's have at it.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
It's time for the news.
Positive news starting off this week. Comics artist / 90s legend Todd McFarlane, with all the concern about Stan Lee, went to his house and he sat with Stan for an hour and he reported on it publicly. He's like, hey, I don't know any of the extra goings on, but for that 1 hour that I was with Stan, it was really good. We had a nice conversation. And what I can say is, as far as his health seems to be, is that he is a 95-year-old man. And it was a conversation that you would have with a 95-year-old man. He thanked me at the end of it, said, it was really nice to see you. I love talking to you. And that's what I can report on. So that was some good news.
Okay.
Let's pivot from there to go with Stanley's blood is being stolen.
What?
Stanley's blood has been stolen.
From his body?
From his body.
All of his blood?
Some. Enough to make him lightheaded, reportedly.
What?
Yeah,
This
was
is
kind of my reaction.
This is disconcerting at best.
no one was named. There have been a bunch of names floating around in stuff regards to Stan, but there was a former business associate who forged documents saying that he had a nurse's order to draw some of Stan's blood for testing. His private nurse drew enough blood to make him lightheaded. And then that
really isn't it doesn't necessarily mean it's a lot. He's 95 years old.
But then that blood was sold to a company that then used a stamp of Stan Lee's signature to stamp comics and sell them for a couple $100 a piece, saying that it had Stan's DNA in it, just with a stamp that's his signature.
So they were stamping things in his blood.
Yeah. I mean, they were mixing it with ink, but yes.
Oh, like Kiss.
They had consent.
Similar to Kiss.
And also legal.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what's being done about these low-life, blood-stealing ass pirates?
I think it's been shut down. And they didn't name the former associate who did it, so that was a little bit vague. But then you would have thought that was the end of our Stan Lee news for this week.
I feel like this is going to take over the BMB segment.
Stan isn't dying well. Stan is dying poorly.
Does anyone die well, though?
Yes. Much better than this. This is hardcore elder abuse. And unfortunately, there's a large piece put out by The Hollywood Reporter that basically accuses his daughter of being a fault for a lot of it. There's been previous reports saying that she is too trusting and really bad with money. But this got far deeper into it. And this is all alleged, so take it with a grain of salt. But there's been enough weirdness around her that I'm leaning towards believing a lot of what is said. Maybe not all of it. But to the point where there's been not just emotional and financial abuse, but also physical abuse. Reportedly, Stan's wife died last year in her 90s. That the daughter grabbed her mother by her arm, left bruising. Supposedly there's photographic evidence of that, but it was requested that wasn't released. Supposedly she slammed Stan's head against a chair because she's spending so much money, like $20,000 to $40,000 a month in credit cards. There was a big fight of Stan calling her an ungrateful bitch and saying that he was going to cut her off and stick her in a tiny apartment.
I mean, it's not standard parenting, but it's definitely parenting that's been done.
Well, it sounds like if someone's training you for $40,000 a month.
Yes, that would be upsetting.
And they treat everything that comes out, she sounds like a child. She's 67. She just sounds like a spoiled rich kid, got everything she always wanted. And then there is a notarized document. It was I forget how many pages it was. It went on for a while. It's a long read of Stan saying all the things that his kid has done against him. And then you see his signature at the bottom of it. This is all a very articulate document, very full of legalese. But then you get to the bottom of the document and it has Stan's signature on it. I know what Stan's signature looks like up until a couple of years ago. I have it upstairs.
Yeah.
It's not even on the line. It's shaky as hell.
He's 95 years old.
And then his new primary care person made Stan record a video putting it out online saying that his relationship with his daughter is great and also his relationship with his care person is great.
I feel like that there's a lot here that doesn't all add up.
It's really weird. Like I said, Stan's, he's 95. He's on his way out, but he's not going out well.
No. And I did see there was some outpouring of support for Stan, and I think there's a good support network around him of people that want to get involved, but then you get into the legal aspect of things.
No one can get to him. All of his phone numbers have all been changed. People aren't allowed in the house. Actually getting Todd McFarlane in there, I was shocked someone was actually allowed in the house.
Yeah, but you let somebody in and that person can kind of be, it's smoke and mirrors perhaps. Maybe that, if you put on the conspiracy theorist hat, maybe just a little bit, we'll let him in and we'll, there'll be a good interaction and he'll go back and report, these are the things I saw and it didn't seem like it was really bad or out of control.
I mean, Todd McFarlane is not out there to lie. He said, I don't know what's going on, but I can say that the hour I was there was a nice hour.
Yeah, so but you can, if you're in that position, you can conjure up a nice hour or the aesthetics of a nice hour and make it look good. And
yes, it looks like Stan is going out with a pretty extreme level of elder abuse and with vultures surrounding him and not even waiting for... They're literally picking his body apart before he's dead.
Yeah.
Literally. Draining his blood.
So you start to worry a little bit now about some of the intellectual property rights and the things that he
doesn't own anything.
It's all owned by Marvel, so that's protected.
He has his own other company, POW Entertainment, which seems like it might be a lot of the issue, but that's mostly speculation on my part. I will do the best on this show to report things as accurately as I can, but yeah, so bad things are happening with Stan Lee and no one can get to him. And when his only real living relative is seemingly screwing him over, it makes it that much harder. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry to start with that. Let's just keep on rolling.
Yeah. Can we go up from here?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, we can. We definitely can.
Okay.
It has been announced that Indiana Jones 5 will be Harrison Ford's last. Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
Speaking of elder abuse.
Well, then Steven Spielberg got lit up by the internet a little bit because he was asked if in the future, if Indiana Jones' legacy character, the title gets passed down, could it be a woman? He goes, oh yeah, sure, but then we'd have to change it from Indiana Jones to Indiana Joan.
Or Jane.
That's not how surnames work. People just yelled at Steven Spielberg for a little bit.
Yeah.
I agree, it sounds dumb, but...
It could still be Indiana Jones.
It could be. I mean, it also could be Indiana Joan. Change the name slightly for no good reason.
Remember, his name is in Indiana.
That was the dog's name. That doesn't make any sense. Why would you name yourself after your own dog?
He loved that dog.
It's a weird little scene, but I think it's funny. Yeah, I know that it was the whole, like, that's George Lucas's dog. Yeah. But whatever. Let's just keep on talking about people's health issues.
Go on.
To the surprise of no one, Terminator has been pushed back 4 months.
Has it been terminated?
No. Hi.
Hi, Kirby. Kirby's here in studio.
And now he's gone.
Oh.
They didn't give a reason for it, but let's say it was Schwarzenegger's chest getting cracked open.
That's probably a good reason.
Yeah, probably a good reason to push the movie back 4 months. Maybe it's going to, screw with your filming schedule a little.
That may get in the way.
They didn't say that was the reason, but I'm going out on a limb there.
Sometimes it's implied.
The guy who just had his chest opened up, cracked, split, and then I think they replaced a stent in there, or was a valve, something like that.
Well, it would probably be a valve. They can do a stent without having to go open the chest up. But a valve would be a little more intricate procedure.
Good news, let's do some of that.
Oh, yes, please.
One of my favorite series from the early 2000s and a lot of people's, Y: The Last Man. It's all about the entire male population is killed off all of a sudden except for one guy and his monkey named Ampersand.
We talked about this before.
Probably.
Not to be confused with Detective Chimp.
No. That's been all over the place for years. Those rights were sold years ago to a company that wasn't able to get it off the ground. The rights last year reverted back to the creators, but now they've done, they haven't done it yet, but there has been a pilot order by FX. So they haven't actually made anything yet, but a pilot order means that FX will at least give them money to make a pilot, and then they have the option to pick up the pilot or not.
And then we have something to watch. If it doesn't go well in about 2 years, we can go back and look at it.
But I think it's like 60 issues exactly. But it's a years-long spanning thing. I think this would work much better in a television format than movies. I'm all about it. It's a great, great book. It's not one we can really do on here. Let's do all 60 issues.
That'd be a separate podcast.
Yeah, because it's not. I mean, there are arcs and individuals, but I mean, it goes and goes. It's all one big story. It's great. It'd also be interesting because that would really give you a finite number of episodes you could do, depending on how long you want to stretch it out. But I'm all about it. Y: The Last Man's amazing. You have to get over some of the early. I just reread it relatively recently. You got to get over some of the early 2000s language in there. Liberal use of some words that now give you an eyebrow raise.
Like dude.
No.
Whoa.
No, I was saying f***ing re.
Whoa, dude.
I'll cut that. Maybe I'll bleep him. I don't know. I guess that does it for your purely sights and sounds mediums. From there's a bunch of comic book news this week.
Oh, okay. Well, no, did you sights and sounds mediums? We had the Solo trailer. Or are you saving that?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
How did you forget about that?
I guess, let's save that one. Let's go out on that. I guess we do have one more. That was a memorable trailer.
Not really.
But we'll get into my reasoning.
Okay.
In Amazing Spider-Man number 800 milestone issue coming up, Peter Parker will be returning to the black suit. He's going to be back in black, baby. I like the suit. I think it's sleek and streamlined.
Is it going to be the symbiote suit or just the black suit?
I don't know. They've done it both ways. They do this about once a decade. It's time. It's been a little over 10 years since he wore it.
It's time.
They literally do it once a decade. It's time.
And we didn't get enough of the black suit in Spider-Man 3 in the movie.
I don't like that one as much. I like it when that's the fun of the black suit is it kind of just streams it all down. That was just a black version of that suit. I like the slicker look, but that's just me. Or maybe it's not just me. It's probably not just me.
Well, there's probably quite a few people who agree with you. I also, in that movie, there were some real interesting choices. It'd be fun to do the Spider-Man movies in review.
I haven't watched those in so many years.
I know. It'd be fun to watch them again, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I think it'd be a great time. Except for having to watch him do his emo Peter thing where he goes into the jazz club and...
Yes, everyone knows that part.
Everyone wants to forget that part.
Something interesting, we've talked about it before. There's going to be more news coming out of it, supposedly within the next month. C2E2 is this weekend, and the Pullbox app was discussed. For those who don't remember, the Pullbox app is something coming in the future from Diamond, where you're going to be able to use an app to kind of digitally manage the subscriptions at your own local comic book store. That was about the only information that was out there. I was able to get a little bit more, which is nice.
Will you have to pay for it?
That's what I found out. That's what I asked.
Okay, and?
Because there was an editor who I knew was at a panel, an editor of Newsarama. He's like, ask me anything. I'm like, tell me about this Pullbox app. What's the money thing?
Okay. And what do you say?
Free for customers and $300 a year for me. But there is a 1-year free trial for its initial launch.
Okay.
So I can say with some, I'll definitely do it for a year. Depending on the success, I'll go from there. But yeah, there's definitely a year that I'll be doing that, if not more. It all depends. I can see advantages and disadvantages of it. I think it's going to be nice if you can just, like, you know, manage your own stuff as it's coming out. Like, you like, oh, this book's coming out. Well, I'll grab that, and then in case you forget about it. But I could also see some negative repercussions of people finding it easier to cancel books if they don't have to tell me about it.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, it's at least going to be, I don't know when the launch is going to be for that, if there's going to be a beta or anything, but yeah, it will be free to customers.
All right.
$300 for me.
Well,
a year. We'll see.
the expense of running business, man.
We'll see. I don't know yet. Also announced this weekend at C2E2, there is going to be an ongoing Catwoman series. Normally, I don't care about this. Catwoman has had many ongoing series, and I have literally never once cared.
You know the Catwoman guy?
I'm fine with Catwoman as a supporting character. I've never cared about any solo series. I've read some of them, and they never did anything for me. Until now. I am now officially interested. Just the creative that they have on it. Going to be written and art done by Joelle Jones. She's currently doing a bunch of stuff on Batman. She's done a bit of writing in the past, but she is legitimately, like, hyper creatively talented. So when they said it was like Catwoman, I don't care. But then when I saw who was doing it, I'm like, never mind, I'm on board. She's a great creator, and I'm definitely willing to give that book a try. And now she's working her way, still kind of like anti-hero-ish, but less so maybe now she's getting married to Batman.
That's true. Wedding bells. You know that wedding's going to get crashed. Somebody's going to come along and
The
screw
Joker.
that up.
Speaking of the Joker,
Yes, tell me more.
in the DC Rebirth special, there, you know, spoilers for that thing that happened a couple of years ago now, there was a reveal that there are really 3 Jokers in the DC universe, and that was the last time that was mentioned.
Is that going to get retconned?
That it's not getting retconned, but they're announced this weekend that there is going to officially be a follow-up. It's going to be done by Jeff Johns, who works... He's one of the 3 heads of DC doing the TV and movie stuff, but also being one of their best writers. He's doing Doomsday Clock right now, so I would imagine after that, but we'll see. I guess some pages have been done for it, but it was kind of vague. But it is actually being followed up on, which is nice.
Follow through. Imagine that.
And then a thing I'm a little leery of, but let's see what happens. Marvel has plans to reintroduce its Ultimate Universe. I think the Ultimate Universe started in like 2000, it was like 99 or 2001, that area. The idea was, the company has been going on for, 40 years and it can be difficult for people to jump into all of that history, so we'll create this other universe that's a jumping on point, but then their own continuity got big and convoluted and it eventually kind of imploded to the point where they literally blew it up.
You know?
They crashed a universe into it, decimating it.
That someday that's going to happen, man. Universes will collide.
Oh,
there
they-
will be the inevitable heat death of the universe.
I mean, they literally did collide.
Yeah, well...
Physically.
We're going to collapse in on ourselves, but that's totally...
No, another one like came in and just hit them.
Oh, wow. String theory to the max.
But apparently they're bringing it back. I'm a little hesitant, but we'll see what happens, I guess. If they could do something good with it, great. But I thought there was a reason they blew it up.
Well,
They ended up defeating their own purpose by saying we're going to be an easier jumping on point. It just, if anything, it became more complicated.
That's good.
Because they wanted to take the original concepts and do them with a twist, but sometimes the twist just got too twisty.
I hate when I get too twisty.
Yeah. And now seems as good a time as any to check in with our good friend of the show,
Brian Michael Bendis.
BMB.
What is Bendis up to now?
We're gabbing about Bendis. It's this week's news about Brian Michael Bendis.
Bendis.
His Twitter wasn't hacked this week, or not that I saw, so that's a positive for him.
I saw somebody tweet about Brian Michael Bendis just recently, today, in fact.
I don't know who you follow.
I
I haven't checked your Twitter followings.
No, now I have to look it up.
But the big news this week, continue to look it up, is there is a book coming out, DC Nation #0. He's one of the main writers on it. The orders for March came in, and there were over 1 million copies ordered.
Wow.
Why? I can give you the reason why, though. Because
Yes.
I ordered a ton of them. It's going to be a 25-cent book that's going to lead off into like a bunch of their major titles. It's kind of their jumping off point. So there's going to be a book you can get for $25, and it's sold over 1 million copies in pre-orders. I got a lot of them. It actually might be the most I've ever ordered for a book.
That's a lot.
Well, just because it's, it's a quarter. So, I mean, less for me, but I probably end up paying more in shipping than I do for the actual books. But yes, I mean, still 1 million copies is a big deal these days.
Look, the price of doing business. Okay, let's see. I'm looking at Brian.
You keep on saying this as a guy who doesn't do business.
No, I don't. I'm looking at... Wow, he does tweet a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, I know.
Holy cow. I should follow him.
So you could be down with BMB.
Yeah, because some guy was all excited about Brian Michael Bendis.
It could have been his Man of Steel arc that's coming up. That's going to be a weekly before he takes over Action Comics and Superman. Because those two, Action Comics and Superman, are taking a little bit of a
Somebody
break.
was talking about C2CE. That's what it was.
Yeah, C2E2, yeah.
C2E2.
Yeah, because he had a panel.
I want to say it was...
They put it online. I didn't watch it.
Oh, CM Punk.
He likes Marvel.
Yeah, well, he's written for Marvel.
Yeah, he wrote Drax. That was a fun little series.
Because I saw it today, I was like, wow, Brian Michael Bendis transcends everything.
Yeah, whatever. You can continue to look that up. I'm just going to keep on going with the
Yes.
news because we're talking numbers. So we have the top 10 sales for last month. It's officially out. Counting down from number 10, there's Oblivion Song, number 1. That is the new Robert Kirkman, the creator of The Walking Dead. That's his new book. Batman at number 9. Infinity Countdown at number 8. Mighty Thor at number 7, the death of this current Thor. Batman again, because that's a bi-monthly book. Number 5 was Weapon H number 1. That's the combo of Wolverine and the Hulk as a new character. Number 4 was Amazing Spider-Man. That book is really big on the speculator market right now for people trying to figure out what counts as a first appearance. Number 2 is Doomsday Clock. And number 1 again, for their 6th and final issue, was Dark Knight's Metal. It's crazy that that series ended up being the number 1 book. Like, usually you see a decrease in sales over time, but that was able to hold the top spot every time. So good for them. But the downside of all of this is the overall sales figures are down 11% from March of last year for the North American industry as a whole. By the way, when I read these numbers, these are just North American numbers. They aren't international. That's not what gets recorded.
So, down 11% from last year. What was February from last year?
I don't remember. That was something around the same. It was like 8. I think it was 8%.
Oh, so that's not getting any better.
No.
Oh.
So, I don't know. So I continue my monthly plea of the industry is dying on a vine here.
I was going to say that really this is your monthly plea of buy books, buy local.
Just buy in general. I mean, yes, obviously I'd appreciate it if it's from me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I always want to put this kind of like pet peeve that I have of like creators like, hey, if you can't, you don't have a local comic book store, like, why don't you go to like one of these biggest like comic book stores in the country and order through them? Like, promote someone local, someone near you. These big guys, they don't need help. Or apparently Meltdown did because they're out of business now. But I hate it when I see people like, if you need to get this book, go to the biggest store in the country. I'm like, or not, go somewhere else.
Is there a certain like convenience aspect to that though? Like I can just order online from them and get it mailed to me?
It depends. It really does.
Again, playing devil's advocate. Why can't I do that for you? Could I just like do that through you? I'm like, hey, Zach, I'd like to order these books.
Yeah, I've done that a bunch.
And I'm willing to
times.
pay extra for you to ship them to me.
Yeah, I've done that.
Oh.
I don't advertise it, but I've definitely done it a bunch.
Oh, see? Service.
I've even, one time I weirdly did it over the phone, like, of someone who was far too trusting. I mean, I did what I said I was going to do. They ordered some stuff, gave me their credit card information, and then said, please ship it to this address.
Wow. That's kind of like ransom-like, though. A series of small unmarked bills to this random location.
I mean, I did it.
Well, yeah, and you made your money.
Yeah, but I think that's the weirdest one I've ever had. It was like over the phone. Far too trusting with this information. But, clearly I didn't swindle them.
Yeah, clearly also I'm pretty sure they would be able to figure out if somebody was swindling them, they could narrow it down as to who it was. They're very good at detecting credit card fraud these days, Zachary.
Well, that's part of the reason why I have to have the chip reader. Is if you don't have a chip reader at this point, which is, I think it's so crazy when I see how many businesses don't, the business is liable for anything.
Yeah.
With a chip reader, it goes back to the banks, but if you don't have one, that individual business is liable for anything that happens.
There are a lot of places without a chip reader.
It's crazy.
Most of the, like, Cumberland Farms and Circle K, no chip reader.
Yeah, if anything happened, it's on them.
I don't expect to get paid by the Circle K.
I think that's it for news this week. So I guess from there, it's Jared's Sports Reports.
He's running down the middle by the 50. He's at the 30. Bare-chested. The guy is drunk, but there he goes. Oh, and they tackle him at the 40-yard line.
It's time for another Jared Sports Report.
Welcome to Jared's Sports Reports. The Red Sox on quite a tear to start the season. They lost their opening game, and they play the Yankees starting tonight. This will be Tuesday, but...
Are you going to go run home to that?
Well, no, because that game's pretty much almost over. The Sox are destroying them tonight.
Oh, good.
Last I just checked. The Boston Celtics wrapping up the regular season as they get set to be locked in as the number 2 seed. That's always exciting for them. And the Bruins are also gearing up for their playoff run. The NFL draft, not too far away.
I've heard, I don't know anything about hockey really, but I've heard vague good things.
Oh yeah, the Bruins are playing pretty well right now. They're kind of dealing a little bit with the same thing that the Celtics are, with some injuries to some key players, but they're getting ready to go. Tuukka Rask, knock on wood, is playing pretty decent goalie right now. And
what was that name?
Tuukka Rask, 2 U's, 2 K's.
Okay.
I think he's Swedish. Or Scandinavian. It's more Scandinavian. I can't remember. Let's see. What else of interesting note? Oh, I did mention that last weekend was WrestleMania. That happened. That was a thing. Brock Lesnar retained his title. Everyone thought he was going to leave and go back to the UFC, but he re-signed a new contract with the WWE. And that also includes, I believe, a person where he can fight in UFC fights. Ronda Rousey, she competed with Kurt Angle. Two actual legitimate Olympic gold medalists who have now become WWE wrestlers. Well, Kurt Angle did that a long time ago. They beat Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, who's Vince McMahon's daughter.
Conor McGregor attacked a bus.
That was the thing I didn't get to yet. You didn't let me. Yeah, Conor McGregor. UFC.
With 30 guys.
Oh, yeah, 30 UFC fighters. He throws a hand cart through a window on this bus.
I don't think it went through.
It did. It went through the window.
I thought it broke. I didn't think it went through.
Oh, no, it shattered the window.
Yeah.
And there were fighters on this bus who were injured. The guy had corneal eye lacerations of his cornea from the glass.
Yeesh.
And they lost 3 fights on that card. They had a card that Saturday night. They lost 3 fights for it, and Conor McGregor was legitimately arrested. He literally got on his private jet, flew to New York to raise hell because one of the fighters was like picking on one of his guys. So ultimate bro move, but ultimate dumbass move on Conor McGregor's part.
I saw some conflicting reports on that. Like, someone saying that there was a warrant out for his arrest and he wasn't allowed to leave the state of New York. But then there was a conflicting report later saying that no, that wasn't true when the police were questioned. But then apparently he was arrested anyway. So
He turned himself in.
Yeah, there was still conflicting reports initially.
I don't believe there was a warrant out for his arrest at any point. I think that it didn't get to that point. I think he turned himself in before it had gotten there. But it's really, a lot of people are like, oh, it's staged. It's not. New York is one of the last states to finally allow mixed martial arts competition by their gaming board. So they wouldn't go and screw up this major card like this. I know that Dana White was very unpleased with Conor.
Was that the guy who said there was the warrant out?
I don't believe he said that. I can't remember the whole timeline of events.
I don't know these people well enough to be like, it was that guy. I know I saw some video.
All I know is Dana White, who's the head of the UFC, said he was not going to help bail Conor out of this problem. So there was that. So Conor McGregor attacked a bus. He threw a dolly through it, and then he also picked up a bike rack and threw it. Also, he's looking very svelte these days, like extremely athletic. I would not want to piss him off.
There's so many angles of that thing, like so much video footage from that.
Of course there is. Of course there was. I'm trying to think of what other interesting major sports news there is off the top of my noggin. Oh, the Masters over the weekend. Tiger Woods was terrible.
Good.
And
bad guy. Just also lose.
Let's see. Kyle Busch won his first race of the year in Texas, and they head to Bristol, Tennessee this coming weekend. There you go.
Okay. You lost me on that. I mean, you've lost me on many of them, but that name went right over my head.
Oh, yeah. He's a NASCAR champion. He wins quite often. He wins more in the Xfinity Series than he does in the Cup Series, but he's one of the top drivers. His average finish this year is like 3 point something, so he's had a very good start to his year.
3 points sounds good.
Well, and yeah, if you're in the top 3 consistently, he has like 3 second place finishes, a third, and a first, and then he had a really bad finish at Daytona. But you kind of throw that out the window because it's a restrictor plate race, and there's all kinds of. Yeah, I know you're yawning during the sports report. Thanks. This shows how engaged you are.
I had coffee and everything today.
But no, like restrictor plate racing at Daytona is a crapshoot. It doesn't always go the way it's planned. So there's that. And Rob Gronkowski didn't show up at WrestleMania, so that kind of...
Was he supposed to?
There were rumors that he might initially, but that never panned out. So for the best.
I'm curious if any Patriots are going to be going to the Avengers premiere.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Look, Chris Evans invited a ton of them to Civil War.
Oh, yeah.
He's big into Patriots. I know a few of them showed up before, but
I'll
be curious if he invites them again. Like, hey guys, biggest movie ever, want to come?
Oh, I would be there. I'm a Patriots fan, Chris Evans. You can invite me.
I don't think that counts.
No, probably not.
I think there's more than one Patriots fan out there. You're not on an island by yourself.
No. I'm not the only one. But I'm not a fanatic. I'm going to save it. I was going to go on a rant. I was going to have this.
I'll allow it. I'll cut out every time you say so it sounds more coherent.
Okay. So I'm going to get on my soapbox.
You keep saying that.
Jared's soapbox.
You keep saying that like that's a thing.
You've never heard that expression?
I know it is, but it's what you like to use when you talk about sports. It's the only time you say it.
I'm going to hop on this digital platform. You know what really pisses me off? And I'm going to say it now, and I'm going to continue. I'm probably going to come back to it at some point. Is fans of sports teams that A, live in the past, B, continue to harass the fan bases of other teams when you're in a position of dominance. Patriots fans, don't be tools. I can't stand it when people, or any sports fans of New England sports fans, that give other New England sports fans a bad name by like calling out other sports people or personalities, giving them really stupid nicknames, trying to give their own dumbass hot takes and make them sound like they're their own, but everyone else has had that hot take, or even hot takes in general. They're stupid and they're dumb and they make us sound illiterate, and we're already disliked by the majority of people because of the success of our pro sports teams. So don't feed into the rhetoric. Kill them with kindness, you dip.
Well, I always have this theory. I was thinking about it earlier this week. I think most fandoms are awful.
Oh yeah,
but as a whole, but most fans are fine.
Oh yeah, the majority.
Individual fans are usually fine, but I think most fandoms, when you get like people congregated all at once, I think they're mostly awful.
Yeah, just like the majority of people who are Republican or Democrat are fine. It's the people who see the far right and left wings of these groups that really cause people to judge the whole by the few. And it's not true. I can't stand it. I hate when people do it because it only feeds fuel into the fire. I don't like it. Listen, get a strong opinion, get your own opinion, and have an informed opinion. It's okay that your team struggles. It's okay that your team fails. Stop blaming the referees. Stop saying that the other team's high-priced superstar is a dip. Okay? Grow up a little bit.
I've heard you yell at the Yankees.
Yes. I've yelled at the Yankees before. But you know what? I also respect the Yankees. And you know what that does?
Do you?
Yeah, of course I do.
Said that with a question. Yeah.
Yeah, I can learn to respect things I don't like or don't care for. But they're a sports team. You root for laundry, people. You root for laundry. I guarantee right now, this very instant, you listening to this podcast, if you hate LeBron James and all of a sudden he was put on your team, you would love and embrace LeBron James. Just the same with Odell Beckham Jr. because he's on the Giants. Oh, we hate the Giants. Well, guess what? If he was on the Patriots, you would love him. Everyone hated Chad Johnson, Chad Ochocinco. They were like, oh, he's loudmouth, boisterous. He wouldn't fit New England. Oh, the New England Patriots just signed Chad Ochocinco, Chad Johnson. Oh, great. He's perfect. Randy Moss, he's a real jerk. He's a butt fake. Oh, yeah, he fake mooned the crowd in Green Bay. What a punk. Would never want him. Oh, the New England Patriots got Randy Moss? Absolutely. We love him. You root for laundry.
You're peaking so much.
Because I'm animated. Where's the Tylenol?
You're drinking Coors. You can't have Tylenol.
It's water.
Basically, you're probably fine.
Thank you.
I don't want to cause you liver or heart damage.
Give me your whiskey.
No, easy does it. Is that it? Are those your reports in soapbox?
I am stepped off. I've dismounted the soapbox.
You like that LeBron example too. You used that one before.
Listen, say what you want about LeBron. He is one of the best basketball players ever.
Yeah.
And
how much longer do you think he has?
He's 33. He could play till he's late 30s.
I thought you almost said 40, and then you dialed it back. You're like,
I don't know. He could play for a long time. Jordan played for a long time. And Jordan was good for a long time and played at a high level for a long time.
And then he didn't. Then he spent half his time injured.
Yeah, well, I think the thing with LeBron is, well, first of all, his hairline is receding. Do you ever see that picture of somebody drawing the Wu-Tang logo that matches his hairline?
I have that.
Yeah, well, this is really pronounced. I think he can continue to play at a high level. How long does he have left in Cleveland? I don't know. The thing about LeBron, though, is he can be a coach killer. He can kind of push people to get what he wants, but he has the superstar power. And when he turns it on, there are few in the game that are better than him.
Who do you think he's getting Coach of the Year? The NBA?
Yeah, he probably should. What?
LeBron should get it?
No, I think it's got to be Brad Stevens, though. It kind of almost has to be what he's been able to do with the injuries and the things that have plagued this team, especially down the stretch, and they're still playing at a competitive level. That stat that you talked to me about tonight, that was a good job, but you read it off the TV screen.
Yeah, it wasn't.
The Wizards have not
informed.
played. The 0 Wizards rookies have had any minutes this season.
And Celtics were at like 5,300.
Oh yeah, it's unbelievable. Their ability to still. I think that's the great thing about Brad Stevens is just he presents such a calm demeanor and is able to get the most out of his players and adjust his scheme to what the players can do, and they buy into it.
Is he 7 years old or is he 55? He could be either.
No, but you know who I like?
I
like Greg Popovich.
Okay.
He's the Spurs coach.
I don't know who it is.
I think you'd like him. I think you should look him up and read some of his quotes. I think you would like him.
I guess that's it. Is that all you have?
I'm spent.
You had a minute. Well, I guess it's a good thing you're not leading this next segment. You are You are. It's named after you.
We didn't talk about Han Solo.
Oh my god, I forgot about... It's that forgettable. Sure. All right. I didn't do a trailer breakdown. You're right, I forgot about Solo.
Okay, so here's what I got about Solo.
You give your thoughts. I have some notes.
We find out that Chewbacca's old as hell, and
190.
he looks good for his age. As I was watching the trailer, I had a total Zach moment. There's nothing in this movie that's going to happen that you ever feel that the main characters are going to be in peril. You know that nothing bad is going to happen to Lando, nothing bad is going to happen to Han, and nothing bad is going to happen to Chewie. That scene in the trailer where Chewie's hanging off the side of this monorail from hell, which looks like it's some sort of mining cart system.
They're doing a train heist.
Yeah, they're doing a train heist, right? And he's leaning off the side, and he's like, Chewie, look out! And there's this rock coming at Chewie. Newsflash, spoiler alert, Chewie, he's going to be just fine.
That's the problem with doing prequels, and especially prequels with, like, established characters. Doing, like, Rogue One, where you didn't know what was going to happen, that's a little bit different. But with this, I don't feel any sense of urgency.
And you know what the best part about Rogue One is? They could kill everyone, and they did. I'm not saying that everyone dying is the best part of Rogue One, but...
I have some concerns with this movie. I think visually, I was pretty into it. But everything that wasn't a visual kind of immediately sucked me out. We see a lot of in this movie, and I know we're going to get it, is just unnecessary origins for everything. We're going to see, how did Han and Chewie hook up? We're going to see the Kessel Run, because they go to Kessel. We see the origin of Han Solo's blaster. Who cares? Who cares about this stuff? Why? These weren't questions I needed answered.
Woody Harrelson's in it.
Yeah, but it's fine. I mean, he's a good actor, but...
Do you think that
he's going to be the reason for a lot of it?
Do you think they were able to do the Kessel Run so fast was because the whole front end of the Millennium Falcon was closed in?
I am a little bit curious about that. What's the difference there?
You know why? I'm going to tell you why right now. It's the same reason that C-3PO had a red arm.
Buy more toys.
Yep.
Yeah, probably. Same reason Chewie has 2 bandoliers. I thought it was interesting that they just flat out call Lando a smuggler in the trailer versus like a gambler, I think would be more what he was referred to as before, but just saying like he's the best smuggler out there. I thought that was an interesting bit. No, it looks like we see Chewbacca when he's like in slavery, and we potentially see him with his family, which if they connect this to the holiday special, this movie's amazing.
The holiday special we spent 2 years trying to review and never have.
Yeah. But that...
I just had a brilliant idea. Let's do it in July. Christmas in July.
No. Actually, our July is pretty open. That's kind of a month I haven't filled out yet. I bet like later end of the summer is kind of open right now.
Oh, okay, cool.
But yeah, if they could connect that with the holiday special, like I think his wife's name was Mala. They said it's like Mala, and like he has a kid in that thing. His kid's name is Lumpy.
Life Day.
Yeah, if they do somehow tie that in, that'd be amazing. I do like seeing, looks like Chewie throwing another Wookiee into the ground. That was kind of awesome.
Ooh, Wookiee fights.
That kind of cringe. You know what I do like in this? The look of Paul Bettany, like that weird scarred face. It doesn't look like he's an alien. It just looks like a guy who's had a really messed up face.
Yeah, he's had a rough go of it.
Yeah. The line, "I've got a really good feeling about this," was kind of cringy.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all.
And I didn't think...
Because that's very out of character for Han.
This is 10 years prior, but I mean, it just... I don't know. I didn't mind any other actor, but for maybe just because I have such an impression of what Han Solo is... I didn't have it with Lando, though, so I don't know. I don't know if this guy's a good actor. Maybe all those rumors about having an acting coach on hand at all times are true, because he kind of seems like the weakest link.
Not Lando.
And then, of course, and the other thing that we're going to get the Last Crusade moment. Did you see what it was going to be? How does Han get his chin scar? You see Paul Bettany with that weird laser knife?
Oh, yeah.
$20. That's what does it.
I'm not hard up for $20. I don't need to lose $20.
Because you know I'm right.
Yeah, probably.
We're going to get that Last Crusade moment of how does he get the chin scar? I don't know, man. I saw a lot of people online were giving this trailer a lot of love. I was not feeling it. And I don't want it to be bad. It's Star Wars. I want it to be good. I love Star Wars.
I think it's going to be either it is what it is, or I'm going to walk out of there pleasantly surprised. I don't think I'm going to walk out of there devastatingly disappointed.
I mean, we've had that before.
Yes, but we're not going to see Justice League.
I'm more about Star Wars.
Which one?
Are you having trouble thinking of a bad Star Wars movie?
Oh, yeah, there were 3 of them.
You really stretched there. You're like, when was Star Wars bad?
I was trying to think of, like, recently, movies that we were like, I hope I don't have to be disappointed, and we weren't.
Yeah, I don't know. Visually, I thought it looked good. I really did. I like the visuals a lot in it.
The sand is coarse, and it gets everywhere.
It's not in this movie. He just has a really good feeling about things.
Then he doesn't have sand in him.
Apparently. But yeah, this is going to... I feel like all this movie is just a movie of unnecessary explanations of things that didn't need explaining.
You know who it's gonna really? I think that these are also because remember how big like Star Wars books and novelizations were in like the 90s.
Yeah,
this is like the new wave of that. We were getting stories.
There still are a ton of those.
Yeah,
but I haven't read any of them.
Are they not? They're not necessarily important to the story or the canon, are they?
The only one that I read I read it on this show, The Passage of What Happened to Jar Jar, where he's like a sad clown on the street.
He is. It's not like he became one. He was that the whole time.
It's like a beggar clown or something. I don't remember now.
I still like the fan theory of him actually being the ultimate Sith Lord.
I think that's no.
You know what? It made the character like palatable for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Speaking of palatable, I saw a pretty good movie over the weekend.
What'd you see?
I saw Blockers. The one with John
did
Cena.
you?
Yeah, it was.
You went to theaters for that? Really?
I did. Yes.
I've heard good things about it.
It wasn't bad. I really enjoyed it. When I say it wasn't bad, it makes it sound like it was like wasn't good. It was actually really enjoyable and quite funny.
Red boxing it.
I would red box the shit out of it. When you do, let me know because I want to come over and watch it with you.
Yeah, I thought
John Cena was actually really, really good and entertaining.
He looked pretty strong in the trailers.
He was very strong.
He always looks strong.
Yeah.
He's quite large. But yeah, it looks like he might have some comedy chops in him.
Oh, he definitely does. He crushed it, I thought.
Okay, great. I mean, I'll check it out when it comes to Redbox. I'm not going to pay for that one.
No,
I'm going to pay for it. I'm just not going to pay ticket prices for that one.
I went to a matinee.
Oh, okay, better.
Got to get those points up so I can get free popcorn and soda when we go to Avengers.
I never get popcorn. I think I'll get popcorn for that one.
We're going out Thursday night, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I know, because that's going to be so... I'm going to be so tempted to see the spoilers. It's going to be better to just get it day one where I can't see them.
Reasonable.
Because I want to know. I'm like, where everyone dies. Also, Mark Ruffalo keeps on saying that, and he's probably not supposed to.
Yeah.
And it also means potentially nothing.
Probably.
So now that we've talked about Solo, which I hope is good, might not be. Or it just might be a movie, and that's fine.
I think it's going to be more along the lines of it's a movie and it's fine.
Yeah. Ultimately, you know what? If it's a bad movie, it's not going to really affect my life. That's the nice thing. If it's a good movie, it just gets to enhance it. Go, oh boy, there's another Star Wars movie I get to enjoy rewatching. If it's bad, then whatever. I'll just go watch the Star Wars movies I like. That is the worst case scenario.
I think it's not going to be the worst Star Wars movie you've ever seen.
I don't think it will be. I think that's a high bar. Attack of the Clones is the worst one.
Yeah.
I strongly believe that. I know a lot of people point to Phantom Menace. I definitely say Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you on that. Attack of the Clones is definitely the weakest of them.
Rough movie. Huda Man, Yoda Man. Those commercials haven't left my head. It's been 16 years. Don't touch my whiskey!
You reminded me of sad things that I needed to drown out.
I guess from there, yet again, let's do Jared's Reading Corner.
It's like a circuitous route to get here.
It's Jared's Reading Corner.
As we usually do, I'm going to give a little bit of background before we dive into it. This week, because, hey, Infinity War is coming up, but let's talk about...
What?
Yeah.
No way.
Let's talk about another Avenger. But there's also another reason we're talking about this one. Unintentional, but hey, it worked out well.
If it's unintentional...
It worked out!
If it's unintentional, how can it not be a reason? Like, you can be like, unintentionally, we have this reason.
It is. Because it turns out that Doctor Strange... Oh, wait, we're doing Doctor Strange, by the way. More specifically, Strange Tales. Doctor Strange first appeared in Strange Tales number 110 this week in 1962.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's his birthday.
Happy birthday.
My birthday. The thing from Thor. Stop! Touch my whiskey.
Well, stop being weird.
Strange Tales is a book I've wanted to talk about for a long time. I mean, believe me, if there's a show that's been pushed back more often than our holiday special, there's actually another one. But Strange Tales is one of these shows that just keeps on getting pushed back and pushed back. And this week we're doing a good half of Strange Tales. Strange Tales is an anthology book. It started way back, because clearly Doctor Strange being number 110 first appearance. It was originally a monster book, and then transitioned to a superhero book. It was mostly a testing ground to see what, throw a bunch against the wall, see what sticks, see what doesn't. So,
like Man-Bat?
Man-Bat stuck hard.
He's Marvel, right?
He's DC.
Damn it.
He's the opposite of Batman.
I see what they did there.
Yeah, you do.
Wow, I just caught on to that a month into the whole Man-Bat gag.
Yes, Strange Tales is kind of a testing ground, so Doctor Strange would be either one of 3 stories or one of 2 stories within this anthology book. And during the superhero period before Strange Tales
like Action Comics would have like more than one story. Okay, I get it.
But Doctor Strange, for the most part, is a stronger half of Strange Tales. And as much as I think this is going to be a fun one to do, I am deeply looking, and I said that we were going to do we're going to do a 2-parter with some bad books. I pushed that back like 2 more months For a reason, I do have a reason, but I cannot wait to get to the other half of Strange Tales, which is some of the worst crap. So entertaining. So terribly entertaining.
I'm a fan of that.
I can't wait to get to it. I've pushed it back so many times, and I so desperately want to talk about the bad half of Strange Tales.
I'm all in.
Oh, it's going to be good. But this week, since Avengers is coming up, and it's Doctor Strange's birthday, we're going to be starting with his first appearance. We have a couple spatterings of Strange Tales, because they're short stories. Originally, Doctor Strange was created by Steve Ditko and Stan Lee. Both Ditko and Lee say that it was, for the most part, Steve Ditko's idea. He came to Lee with it and said, like, hey, let's do this thing. Steve Ditko is best known in Marvel for co-creating Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. And I was thinking about it earlier today, and I think that's a big reason why we see the two of them teamed up so much in Infinity War.
That makes sense.
It might just be a coincidence, but I was like, we see a lot of those, from what we've seen in the trailers, we know that those two are going to be teamed up pretty significantly, and I wonder if that's an intentional Steve Ditko connection.
I would like to think it is.
Yeah. I mean, these are smart guys. They made some good movies.
Yeah.
So and they seem to know their stuff, so I got to imagine that probably isn't an accidental pairing. But from there, let's dive into a very dense 5-page story in Strange Tales number 110.
So yeah, a lot happens in the introduction of Dr. Stephen Strange. We didn't even know that his name is Stephen Strange, in fact, right away. But I love, the one thing that I really love when we talk about it is, well, first of all, when I opened up your omnibus, the Eye of Agamotto looked right back at me.
Staring you down.
Yeah, he is. Also, I was really disappointed that in your selection of my reading that you did not include the Crimson Bands of the Sidorak.
I know. It's not what I based it on. So Doctor Strange, obviously named Doctor Strange. Apparently the original idea was to call him Mr. Strange, but Stan Lee thought that was going to be too close to Mr. Fantastic's name, so he made him a doctor. And I said this to you earlier tonight. I should have saved it for now. Just a little tidbit that I only learned this week. I saw it on Twitter, which apparently is true, that Mr. Fantastic's original name was going to be Mr. Fabulous.
And speaking of Mr. Fantastic and the Fantastic Four, Doctor Strange also shares this Strange Tales with the Human Torch.
Maybe that's what we'll be talking about in like 2 months.
Oh.
Maybe it's the Human Torch's side of Strange Tales, which is unbearably wonderful.
Maybe because he's fighting a guy named the Wizard and Paste Pot Pete.
We actually might be doing 110. There's 3 of them I know we have to do.
So, anyway.
Just defying all logic.
We meet Doctor Strange, the master of black magic. I kind of felt like we had read this one before, but maybe not. But
I've shown you that image.
The image of Doctor Strange.
One thing I would like to ask you before we dive into it.
Yes.
Early Doctor Strange, and I don't have an answer for this, and I've looked it up to see what other people thought, and there doesn't seem to be a solid... Most people don't think it. Do you think he was originally supposed to be Asian?
Don't know.
Neither do I. I think it's possible.
I think it's kind of like one of those things like you plant that thought into someone's head and then they see it. Just like if you say, like...
I mean, we see, as even later on, there's Asian characters that pop up within the Strange Tales stuff.
Well, there's a heavy Asian influence on it, but I don't think...
Look, not subtly jumping around it, it's the eyes. I look at the eyes and go...
I could see
that racist?
But his eyes are closed.
Or are they?
Oh, they're definitely closed.
For the entire book?
He's in a deep trance.
Closed just all the time? Doesn't open them up?
No, they're very surly and very... I don't know.
Yeah, it's in your head now, isn't it?
It is. That's like...
The honest answer is I don't know.
That's like saying to me, like... Or like you ever see these on the internet sometimes, like, oh, strange new... I'm trying to think of the way... Like paranormal recordings. And like, if you listen closely, you can hear this recording, you can hear a voice say, come here. And like, if you weren't told to listen for it, you wouldn't hear the voice saying, come here.
It was one of those, that was just my own thoughts and views. As I looked it up online, I'm like, does anyone else think this?
Yeah.
There are some people that think, I stand by, I think it's potential. I'm not going to say it's a yes or no. And there seems to be a smattering of people who also think that. And some people say, no, he was always definitely white, but I don't know.
No.
I didn't see anyone saying, no, he was always definitely Asian comparatively. But
anyway, we have Doctor Strange, and he's being, he's been approached by a man who is having nightmares and he can't understand them. So maybe this minister of the dark arts can decipher his dreams.
Sounds like a bad idea. Like, I'm having bad dreams. Can you, look into my brain?
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I totally will, go into your dreams.
I don't know. Have a shot of whiskey before you go to bed.
But we also learn that Doctor Strange can leave his body, and it's not called the astral plane. It's called an eerie trance, in which he's able to go into this other state, and he travels all the way to a hidden temple somewhere in the remote vastness of Asia. Stan's words, not mine. But we talk about some of the stuff. Stan's verbiage and his word usage and his use of superlatives and adjectives are really quite tremendous.
This is generally referred to as purple prose.
Yeah?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I know, you said it with a question. That's why I answered you twice.
So we meet the Ancient One, and we also we see Doctor Strange go to this guy's house and enter his dream. Real weird.
Well, what's something interesting here, like, let's compare it. We just did the Spider-Man origin just a couple of weeks ago. The Spider-Man origin, like, we meet Uncle Ben dies immediately, and then Peter Parker becomes Spider-Man. He has all of that. Doctor Strange is more of a slow rollout. He doesn't start off as... Or it's like the first issue is not the instantaneous change of like, and now he's the best wizard alive. Like, the Ancient Ones are around for a good long while. It's a slow rollout of Doctor Strange building his abilities and building himself up, which I think is different. Because if you go, people say, like, what's Doctor Strange's origin? Like, oh, met the Ancient One dies, he becomes Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
But that is a slower process than what we see in other books.
It does take a build for him to get there, but he does.
Eventually.
And now all I can see is what you mentioned earlier.
I don't know. I don't know the answer. Yeah, and then he goes into this guy's dreams. He discovers that his ancient foe Nightmare is there, so we know that Doctor Strange has been around for a while if he has an ancient foe.
Yes. The ancient foe being Nightmare.
Yeah. Nightmare's a really cool character. I'd love to see him show up in a movie.
We get the Eye of Agamotto.
Yeah. The guy who's dreaming through Nightmare's control is about to shoot him with a gun.
And the guy screwed over some guy named, what was his name?
Krang.
Krang, yes. Mr. Krang.
Yeah, and Doctor Strange leaves the dream. It gets wrapped up real fast because this is only 5 pages. And the guy's like, oh man, now I know that I have bad dreams because I made so many bad business opportunities for people I know. And then Doctor Strange says to turn himself in, and that's his first appearance.
Yes. And then in episode 111, Asbestos Man fights Human Torch.
Asbestos Man is terrible.
He doesn't look very good.
Oh my god, I love Strange Tales. Strange Tales really is a fun book, and there are highs and lows, and sometimes the highs and lows are fun for different reasons. I can't wait to introduce you to the Plant Man.
I'm kind of excited to meet him.
He controls plants.
No way. You don't say.
He defeats the Human Torch with a morning dew and acorns.
You know what defeats me in the morning? A morning dew and acorns.
Just pelted with acorns.
I've been hit with acorns before. It doesn't feel pleasant.
But yeah, that's the origin of Doctor Strange. And then we'll jump forward a little bit. That was Strange Tales 110. Jumping forward to Strange Tales number 123. Why are we doing this one? Because it's mostly fun and it kind of reminds me of the Thor movie and also a recent run of Doctor Strange comics. In this issue, we have Doctor Strange going up against Loki with Thor guest starring as well. What's interesting about this is relatively recently in the comics, Loki took over as Sorcerer Supreme for Doctor Strange, and this is their first encounter.
Real interesting couple of choices here. Well, number one, they right on the front page admit and they kind of play up the fact that it's Thor is drawn by Steve Ditko as opposed to Jack Kirby, who's usually the guy who draws Thor. And they make reference to that right away.
That he looks really different and they want to hide it from Jack so he doesn't get mad.
That's not a good way to hide it by saying right out in the open, hey Jack, we hope you don't see this.
Yeah, Thor looks a little in the face. Like, the body is fine, but the face is real gaunt.
Well, you know...
He's not your square-jawed Kirby hero. He's malnourished Thor.
Maybe he's trying the paleo diet.
It is weird how different he looks, and it's even weirder. Like, you might not notice it if they didn't just call attention to it up front. What's also weird about the story's only a few pages. Page 1 is a splash page kind of explaining the scenario. You don't have a lot of time to tell your story. Just get into it.
Yeah, that's the one thing about these, is they're very dense, these action tales. These
Strange Tales.
Strange Tales. There's action in these Strange Tales.
There are.
But a couple of interesting choices, like Loki is wearing scaled underwear.
He usually
Could
does.
be like Aquaman, more of an Aquaman look. And he's got a weird-ass ponytail going on, too. Don't really fully comprehend that choice, but we live with it. So Loki's locked up in Asgard, per usual, and he wants revenge on Thor, per usual. So he's going to try and employ the help of, well, Doctor Strange. And so he's using his evil to mask that it's Thor who's imprisoned him.
It tells Doctor Strange, Thor imprisoned me, and he's going to take over the world.
And Doctor Strange is totally a 110% mark for this. He's like, oh.
Convinced so easily.
Yeah. So you know what? He's enticed by, and these are Stan's words, not mine, silver from the leather thong which dangles from his hammer.
That was a sliver, not silver.
Oh, a sliver from the leather thong which dangles from his hammer.
Yeah, Doctor Strange says that he can sense evil, thinking that it's within the bonds of these. And to my personal favorite bit of dialogue, or more internal monologue, Loki goes, good. He doesn't suspect that the evil he senses is in my heart. Which I just love that line. Loki is so self-aware. He's like, you know what, I'm kind of a jackass.
Yeah, Loki is not kind of a jackass. He is 110% a jackass.
But using the sliver from Thor's thong, Doctor Strange creates a magical hand that steals Mjolnir away from Thor, who's mid-flight.
Yeah, it sucks to be Thor because, well, he can't fly without Mjolnir, so...
He tells you as much. He falls down and says, I can't fly without my hammer.
He also says, what evil wizardry is this? So, Loki's got all these schemes, as Loki schemes, and Doctor Strange finally kind of says, wait a minute, something's not right here. The sliver from Thor's hammer thong, registers no evil in the light of my amulet, which still hasn't been called the Eye of Agamotto yet, but...
No. Yeah, he calls it his amulet for a long time.
Yeah, so Loki's like, oh, you know what? Let's fight instead. And again, more of the purple prose, this fantastic cage almost out of thin air. What I love about this, though, is like Stan's imagination just running wild.
I think you're seeing more of Steve's imagination running wild.
With the art, yes, absolutely. But the words and like the way that Stan communicates things.
Doctor Strange, I mean, not always, but especially in these early days, I'm more interested in the art than I am in anything else. Because they have to make up all these weird original worlds. Like Kirby's whole thing, or not his whole thing, but a lot of what he did was create this crazy tech. And Ditko's thing was more creating like these mystical realms. It's interesting seeing the progression of that, and I like this stuff a lot. The next one we do is even going to get weirder.
So anyway, Thor gets his hammer back because Doctor Strange is like, you know what? I should probably give Thor his hammer back. Because this Loki guy, he's a shady character. He's very untoward.
What's funny is they have this whole massive, like, mystical battle, and Thor hasn't hit the ground by the time Doctor Strange returns the hammer to him.
And Thor's looking quite smart. And suddenly my hammer tingles no more because the leather of the thong has been replaced. So,
oh, good.
Good for Thor. And Doctor Strange sits and ponders these things.
Well, Loki leaves. He's like, oh no, Thor can sense me. I gotta get back to Asgard. And then Thor flies by. He's like, hey, Thor here.
And then Doctor Strange risks his very life to solve the mystery of the Lady from Nowhere.
Is that, the next issue?
It's in 124.
Ooh, Clea, I would guess, if I had to take a stab in the dark. What did you think of this issue?
I thought it was interesting. It was fun. You kind of see him growing more in his use of the mystic arts. And he looks more Caucasian.
Yes, he does. Yeah, it's a fun little jaunt. I like this one. Just something we're not doing them here, especially in the Doctor Strange side. There are some unique and interesting villains, and there's a good number of them in Doctor Strange's roster, but especially with Baron Mordo, like, they lean on that so heavily, especially early on. It's just like, and now the return of the evil Baron Mordo. Next issue, he's back again. Next issue, hey, guess who's back?
Baron Mordo?
Yeah. Next issue, he's teamed up with someone, but it's just...
But I like a little bit of this because, you know what, you have established characters.
That shakes up fun, yeah.
And you kind of, like, pump them up and say, this guy is legitimate.
This is like 62, 63 at this point, so this was the point when they were still literally building out the universe.
Yeah.
So it's fun seeing those crossovers early on when it wasn't necessarily as common. And there was always, if you read like the letters, people are always far more concerned about like, but if he's in this book, how is he in that book? There was more focus on trying to keep, a logical standpoint. Now I'm like, I don't know, Wolverine's on 8 teams, what of it?
Use your imagination.
Yeah.
Don't be so linear and concrete, people.
No, I just picked this one because I think it's a fun jaunt and it reminded me a bit of the Thor movie and that recent run on Doctor Strange. Just giving you a smattering, because overall I recommend these books. And then we're going to jump to the middle of a story, and there's a reason that I want to do this one. Something that these later books start to do, that the earlier ones, they're mostly one-offs, maybe 2, but then out of nowhere comes this, I think it was like 5 or 6 issues long, which, granted these are like 10-page stories, so it's not that long, but we have Doctor Strange trying to find eternity. The Ancient One tells him that he has to find eternity. It's this big, long quest of, like, what is... He doesn't know what it is. It's just a word. And I want to bring up eternity for reasons I'll reveal soon.
Okay, eternity.
Oh, by the way, the Ancient One's sick and crap.
So, our good friend, Doctor Strange, is wearing his cloak of levitation. I remembered what it was.
He does have it.
And... Oh, by the way, the cover of Strange Tales 138, it says, sometimes the good guys lose. Nick Fury is in space getting shot up.
Yeah, there's like 17 bullets hitting him simultaneously.
Yeah, not a good day to be Nick Fury.
The Human Torch has left the book at this point. Can't imagine why.
I'm guessing this is the life model decoy of Nick Fury.
Couldn't tell you. I have not read the other half of Strange Tales number 138.
Okay, anyway, well, it's only 12 cents.
Oh, I'll get right on it.
Okay. It's probably a little more than 12 cents right now.
You have no idea how sick I am of that joke. Oh, but it says it's only 20 cents. Yeah, no. Do the first one to say that.
Is that why you just rolled your eyes and gave me a look of massive discontent?
Probably.
Okay.
I think That's probably the only repeat joke I get at the store. I can't really think of any other ones, but that's the one that people always lean into.
Fair. Anyway, Doctor Strange has opened up this portal to a totally different dimension, eternity, which the art here is really cool, because how would you visualize or picture or kind of represent eternity? I like kind of the decisions that Ditko makes here. It's everything. It's a mix of just weird shit, and I love it.
Yeah, it's hard to describe because these aren't shapes and things that you would see in the world. I mean, this is kind of the fun that they had a little bit with the Doctor Strange movie, which is definitely pulling from Ditko's art. And this
reminds me of like when he was facing Dormammu.
Yeah, I mean, this issue in particular, it's why I wanted to kind of jump through like the beginning when it was, you know, a little tighter on the magic stuff before it starts like blowing out big into the mystical.
Yes, so he goes through this portal, which some sort of entrance with an amulet design intended for me. So he's on this journey, obviously, to find eternity because he needs some answers from eternity, don't we all?
He doesn't even know what eternity is. He's going to find out, though.
Yeah, and he finds a universe, and it takes the shape of a man.
Well, he finds a universe within a universe that contains other universes. It's like...
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, you can understand why, you know, this was popular with the college-age kids.
Yeah, and their recreational activities.
Yeah, mescaline.
Lewds.
Specific drugs.
That's extremely... Lewds, dude. Lewds. I've never done...
I know.
I only saw a movie about it once. Wolf of Wall Street. And I played Drug Wars in high school. You ever play Drug Wars on your calculator?
No, I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's a classic game. You're a drug dealer, and you're trying to, like... You learn about supply and demand. And we had a science teacher who would put it on the calculator for you. Your graphing calculators, like when you could put games on them.
Yeah, I remember.
Everyone loved Drug Wars. And we're like, wow, the science teacher will give you Drug Wars. And you're like, well, you're learning math and supply and demand. Anyway, I digress.
From eternity, because it's a really weird concept that's hard to describe.
And eternity is like, oh yeah, you're not the first person to come here. In fact, the ancient one. So it's you. You're number 2. Let me look into your heart and soul, but you're not going to speak to me. And he's like, oh, you want power. And you want power to defeat your enemies. Not going to give it to you.
And one of the worst cliches in all of fiction, the magic was in you all along.
Yes. Yeah, it's like, the key is wisdom, and you have wisdom. Good luck. And Dr. Strange is like, well, that sucked. Didn't get the answer I wanted.
Yeah, before we started this episode, it's like, you know, I can kind of like, eternity is literally the thing that houses the universe, the Marvel Universe, and all of the multiverses. Maybe I'll try and, like, expand my knowledge a bit, look him up, you know, not go that deep, but, like, just give him a good old Wikipedia, maybe a Marvelpedia, and then my brain imploded, and I'm just going to stick with the description I gave, because it gets weird. Look, and then he goes to fight Dormammu and Baron Mordo. Like I said, this is the middle of a Doctor Strange story. For the Strange Tales one...
By the Vapors of Valtor!
Something I don't really know within, like, Doctor Strange fandom, I don't know what stories... people traditionally go, like I know, like we did Demon in a Bottle. I know people say like, oh, that's the best Iron Man story. I don't know what people say is really the best Doctor Strange story, but as far as like the early stuff, the Search for Eternity is by far my favorite one that they did. But we picked up in the middle of the story and we're not going to finish it. But I want to bring up Eternity because I think there is a possibility of him showing up in Infinity War, as we're going to find out next week. And he shows up in the book, and I was thinking about him, like I could see them going for that kind of big thing, especially if they're going to be doing like kind of spanning the cosmos and dealing with what the different stones can do. Maybe he's connected to it. But I think there's a chance we're going to see Eternity.
That'd be kind of cool.
They've gone big with Doctor Strange already in the movies, and I could see that being connected as kind of a celestial being that gets involved with this overall mayhem. But that's going to lead us into the letters. Oh, wait, what'd you think of this story?
I liked it. I didn't hate it. It was what it was.
The art is insanity.
The art is better than the story, I think. The art's like, whoa, this is way out there. But it's like you said, it's the middle of an arc. I have no context.
Yeah, I just wanted to give like the idea of eternity, this universe within universes that spans out to the entire Marvel multiverse, one of the most powerful characters in the entire universe, because it's literally a universe. Says plural.
So are we looking at these letters, the strange mails?
I mean, you can if you want. I wasn't going to.
Oh, it's funny. I just wanted to read this one because I was looking at it. This is from Dick Woles, and I love how they put his actual addresses in these books.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore.
No, they can't. But he was asking, like, man, like this Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the most. In my opinion, it tops Fantastic Four. Well, I was bored with comics, but now you've rekindled me. I just want to know what's with the eye patch for Fury. It's also interesting that 20 years after the war, he still looks the same. Wow, we've really found this one guy who hasn't heard of Sergeant Fury and is howling you-know-whats.
Commandos.
Yes. Also, hey Dick, are you sure your real name isn't Rip Van Winkle? They just pretty much rip this guy apart.
Stan does that a lot in the letters pages.
So Stan is the one who answers the letters?
Generally.
Wow.
He doesn't usually pick out the letters, but if you're to believe what they say in the Marvel bullpen.
There was another one that I was reading. It was like, wow, I can't believe people would talk like that. Oh yeah, that crazy car in the organization Hydra is really way out. That's David Simon, 9160 on 193rd Street in Hollis.
So you leave his address out of this. Taking the book away from you. Stop giving out people's private information.
I doubt he still
lives there.
What are you,
a Zuckerberg?
No, I don't have any money.
Are you a Cambridge Analytica? Yeah, so it's now a less smooth transition into the letters to the editors.
Now for my favorite part of the show. What's that say? Talk to the audience. Oh, God, this is always dead.
Here's another one of your letters to the editors.
This week, a rumor was passed on to me, and I was asked my thoughts on it. Rumor has it, the Silver Surfer will be appearing in Avengers Infinity War in a post-credit sequence. Is that going to happen? Also keep in mind that it has been strongly hinted at there will be at least one, if not more, major Marvel character appearing in this movie that no one knows about yet.
So say it one more time. I'm wrapping my head around the question.
The Silver Surfer. Will he appear in a post-credit scene for Infinity War, keeping in mind that Fox still owns the character? Also keeping in mind that Marvel and Fox have played ball a little bit by Fox giving up Ego the Living Planet and Marvel allowing some Fox television stuff and also holding back one key piece of information. But let's go with those ones.
No.
I strongly believe no as well.
As cool as it would be, I don't see how he would fit into this story. However, I think in the future, maybe after the Infinity War is wrapped up.
He plays a big role in the story that it's half based on, because it's really based on two different stories, plus original content as well.
I think if it were, it would be the best kept secret in Marvel.
I'm going to give this a solid no. And my main reasoning behind it is, well, A, the deal hasn't gone through yet. It's not going to go through for a while. But B, Fox relatively recently started development of a solo Silver Surfer movie with Brian K. Vaughan. They're not going to share.
No.
It's going to be one or the other. It's not going to be the Silver Surfer. I think Eternity is a possibility. James Gunn and Marvel have vehemently denied that it's going to be Adam Warlock, but also, it probably isn't, but I also wouldn't believe them if they're just like, is it him? Is he in this movie? They're just like, damn it, you got us. They're not going to do that.
No.
So even if someone guesses the right thing and says it to a certain person, they're either A, not going to respond, or B, lie. But I don't think it's going to be a Fox character. It might be a smaller cosmic entity. I wouldn't even say Galactus, because they'll definitely have Galactus if they're developing a Silver Surfer movie.
Yeah. Here's my theory on this, okay? If you're going to have Silver Surfer, you're going to have the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, that's also probably true. So, no, I want to officially debunk that internet rumor. I guess not officially, because I don't have any inside information.
And what?
Definitely not.
I don't see where he would fall into this. It'd be way too... I actually don't think I would enjoy, because it would just be like, I don't like this. It kind of goes way over the top. If you want to bring in Silver Surfer and hit that part of the universe, do it in a separate thing. But you've worked really hard on this Avengers arc. Why would you bring in Silver Surfer?
I still think Adam Warlock has a potential. They've introduced the Cocoon. They've been teasing him for a while. It also might not be him, which is also fine if it's not. I think Eternity is up there. I think some of the bigger cosmic entities have a high probability. Because, we've seen, the Celestials in a flashback.
Yeah.
You could throw Celestials in there. You could throw Infinity in there. You could throw half a dozen other, big-time cosmic beings into the mix. But I don't think it's Silver Surfer.
No. Will we see Silver Surfer in a Marvel movie? I think eventually, yes.
Eventually, probably 5-6 years.
And I think that would be the beginning. You'd have to do a Fantastic Four movie. And do it better than the Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Yeah. Or that last one. That one was no good. But it would be a fun movie to watch.
I see where this is going.
Maybe to remind everyone of how good Fox is at making these movies, maybe I have us doing that on Dark Phoenix's original release date. Just as a fun little reminder. Stop touching my whiskey!
Stop making me sad.
Just that fun little, hey, remember how good they are? But yeah, I guess that'll do it for this week.
Well, if you like the show, great. If you don't like the show, donate to our Patreon to make it better. Go to patreon.com/editorsnotecomics, and for $1 a month, you can get this show a day early.
Every single week.
And you can also get the other show, the Buffy Back Issue Bin, a whole week early. It's the show I'm not on, so I don't know why you'd want to listen to it.
Actually, the next one, I think, is going to be, our first interview, so I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's not definitely set in stone, but hopefully.
Working on it. Let's see, what else is exciting?
We're on. Did I get an email back tonight? I'll tell you. Maybe it's going to be live.
Well, we're also on a variety of platforms, so rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. Help give us some exposure.
It actually helps a bunch.
Yeah, because you wouldn't want us exposing ourselves.
Actually, no, it's awesome.
What?
We have doubled our numbers since this time last year.
Oh, good for us.
Yeah, well, like it's almost double exactly.
Comic book sales down, podcast numbers up.
Oh, good. Somehow podcast money not up.
Well,
We're not rich yet.
Let's see. What else exciting?
Everything's on the website. Keep on coming down. Parking isn't as bad as you might think it is.
Yeah, and there's still
It's
access
pretty
to
accessible.
the store.
Park at the Antique Mall or on the street.
Yes. Has anyone tried to park at Lucky Garden that you know of?
Not that I know of. I know some people I just went at the boat launch.
Where are you parking?
In my regular spot.
Out back behind the building?
Yeah.
Is it hard to get there?
No.
Oh. Do you get to avoid most of the construction?
No, because I have to loop all the way around.
Oh, that's kind of inconvenient, isn't it?
It's not that different.
It could be worse.
I mean, it's actually probably the exact same amount of driving because, yeah, it is. It's just not the street I normally go down.
Fair.
Literally the exact same for me.
So 210 Water Street in Hollowell, otherwise known as the Big Dig.
Look for my banner outside of the fence.
I saw some banners that had fallen down today, and construction people were walking around with them as they drove back through downtown.
They pulled down all the mural stuff today. I don't know why.
Huh. But they left your banner up.
They don't touch my stuff. Well, someone asked me, they're like, hey, have they talked to you about this? I'm like, no, I also didn't ask them. I just did it. Easier to ask forgiveness later on if they say don't do it.
Beg for forgiveness than ask for permission.
Yeah, I just did it, and no one's talked to me about it, so I'm a trendsetter. I think I was the first one to do it.
You were.
Well, I have that. I use that banner at cons. I'm like, I already got it.
You should give credit to who really came up with that idea.
The guy who bought the banner in the first place.
I think it was the spouse of the guy who bought the banner in the first place. Yeah. What else is exciting? I'm on Twitter at JuniorRich.
Yeah, I guess that'll be it for this week. What we're doing for the rest of the month, we are getting ready for Infinity War. You want to find out about things, comic book things? Stop fisting.
I'm putting on the Infinity Gauntlet.
Okay. Stop touching it.
There's no context on that. It was his whiskey.
Like, put your head in my lap, yeah.
It's been a weird night on the show.
All Infinity Gauntlet stuff coming up, or all comic book stuff related to it, kind of leading in to what's possibly going to be the biggest movie of the year.
Possibly.
Black Panther did crazy money.
Yeah, I think this is going to...
Third highest movie domestically of all time.
It's going to make Black Panther money.
I hope so. I mean, I guess I have no real stake in it, so yeah, whatever. We'll go see it. I mean, I have a little stake.
They've already got our money.
Well, I hope to get other people's money because they like it so much.
And they're like, oh, I would like to buy things related to this.
I have 1980s trickle-down economics in mind.
How well did that work out?
Oh, fantastic.
Not well at all.
Yeah, we'll be back next week. It's Infinity Gauntlet time.
Yeah!